I played 100 days of Stardew Valley, but on a Junimo farm. Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Welcome back to another 100 days Stardew Valley challenge. For the purposes of this challenge, we are going to play through 100 days of Stardew Valley, but we are going to use the power of the Junimos to help us accomplish some pretty hardcore goals. Let's get into the goals and rules of this video. Rule number 1, we can only use the power of the Junimos to harvest regrowable crops and foraged items. This means we cannot plaster our lovely beautiful Junimo farm with starfruit or other overpowered crops such as pumpkins. Rule number 2, the Junimos can only be used on the Stardew Valley farm. We cannot use them over on Ginger Island, and that's of course if we get to Ginger Island. Let's talk about the goals now. For the first goal, we want to obtain the Infinity Blade. This means we have to unlock Ginger Island, get into Key Secret Walnut Room, and obtain 3 Galaxy Souls. This will be quite a challenge indeed. Let's talk about the next goal. Obtain the Gold Clock. This is a 10 million gold item. It'll be very hard to get, but it's going to be worth it. I have about 8,000 subscribers at the moment, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. If I can get 10,000 subscribers in the next few months, it will be a great milestone for me, and I might even do a special video for you. Day number 1 begins with cutting down some trees, breaking up some rocks, and gathering some fibre. Once enough wood has been collected, I make a chest, run around the map, pick up some forageables to make some tea saplings later on, and of course, we're going to give an artifact to Gunther to get that nice 250 gold from a quest complete. The next thing we're going to do then is going to go to Jier with all our new earned money, and we're going to get some potato seeds, 15 in total. That'll make a good start with the farming. We're also going to give Caroline a daffodil here to try to get that tea sapling recipe off her later on in the game, and the rest of the day is spent watering crops and cutting down trees. Straight into the next day, we're watering more crops, and once this is finished, we're going to go straight down to Willy. Now I'm going to get a training rod off him. It's only 25 gold. This will help me boost my fishing skill up as fast as possible. Today will be a whole day of fishing, followed by a whole day of fishing on day number 3, because as we all know by now, if it's raining, we're fishing. We wouldn't be doing anything else. We're also going to speak to the NPCs around Stardew Valley to beat the introductions quest, because that's going to get us some gold as well. I'm also going to give Abigail a catfish here too, just to complete a quest that she had on the notice board. She's going to give me a whopping 600 gold for the quest complete, which is really nice. Level 5 fishing, we'll go with Fisher. Fish were 25% more. We got really lucky here now the next day, 600 gold for another catfish. And I actually had a few chilling out in the chest, so I went straight down to Marnie, gave her that catfish, and she was super happy with that. That was another 600 gold for me, and this was so nice. This put me up to 2200 gold. Went back to the farm then and just spent the rest of the day cutting down trees, because I was going to need thousands upon thousands of wood if I wanted to get that gold clock by the end of this video. It's going to need tons of wood. So it was actually a rainy day in day 5 here now, and so I started pulling up all the parsnips because they're all finished. There's still a few days left to go with the potatoes. I decided to treat myself to a backpack upgrade. I wanted to get this early so I wasn't throwing away stuff all the time when I was fishing or going down into the mines. Gave Caroline another daffodil as well, and she was happy with that. And I also completed the How to Win Friends quest. That was another 100 gold. So I purchased 80 bean starters. Now these are trellis crops. Don't have a whole lot of experience with these, and you will see later on that I put them down a bit wonky and I couldn't actually water some of them on non-rainy days. Speaking of rainy days, it was raining, so we're back to pulling up catfish. Down into the mines though, day number 6 here now, and the main goal here is to just get down as fast as possible so I can start grinding up all the copper, iron and gold that we'll need later on. Got down to floor 20, got a steel small sword. Happy enough with that. We went a little bit further though. The next day Clint gives us a visit. He's going to give us the recipe to make a furnace, and we're going to make lots of those. As you can see here now, I can only water only some of the trellises because of the mistakes I have made by planting these trellises. Not to worry though, the Junimos will come to our aid soon enough, because Junimos can very easily walk through trellises. We're also going to put down some Junicrows, which are more or less Scarecrows. It's just a Scarecrow mod. All mods will of course be in the description. Back down into the mines here now. I got a wooden club, super happy with that. I finally got access to the Wizard's Tower. It was finally time to put some Junimo Huts on the farm, and you'll notice that the Junimo Hut is free to use, which is what I'm allowing myself to do with this challenge. All Junimo Huts are free, and these Junimos aren't just your typical ordinary Junimos. Oh no, these are super advanced Junimos. These Junimos have been to the future and back. They have learned the ways of farming. Not only will these Junimos collect crops for me, they will also water crops, and they will also clear away crops that have died when you go into a new season. These are super Junimos. So no watering for me. I'm never going to miss a green bean again. Speaking of green beans, I decided to buy another 163 of them just to give the Junimos a little bit more work to do. And look at our beautiful Junimo farm right now. We're only on day 9 and we already have a huge bean farm ready to go. Look at our hard-working Junimos. And because it was raining, of course, we're going to put up more catfish, because the more money we got, the more crops we could buy. So I finished a bundle here now just to get some more spring wild seeds. And that was 30 spring wild seeds right there, so I'm going to plant those. So I needed a bean and I needed a cauliflower to finish the spring crops bundle. However, the Junimos will help me finish these bundles if I give them money, because they are super Junimos. Once the Junimos are paid, they will find the items for me, which means completing these bundles through the community center route will be super easy, using the power of the Junimos. Demetrius gave me a visit. He wanted to upgrade my cave there with either a mushroom cave or the bat cave. I went with the mushrooms because they're more profitable and to give nice energy and health. Went down to Clint. It was time to upgrade some tools. We're going to go with the pickaxe, of course, so I can make steadier progression in the mines. So I made some more spring wild seeds. I'm going to plant these. The Junimos will actually water these for me as well, and they'll harvest them when the time comes. I just got to be careful for when I get gather later on, because the Junimos won't get double harvest. So I was back to fishing again now today, because there wasn't really anything else to do, because my pickaxe has been upgraded. I got another rainy day on day 12. I'm just blessed with rainy days when it comes to these challenge videos. Strawberries are of course a regrowable crop, so I purchased 133 of those. I wanted to get more, but I just didn't have the funds on me right now to get more of those. But 133 should suffice. I did wipe the kids out, of course, in the Easter egg hunt, and I won the lovely straw hat, which is the primary hat you will see me wear for the majority of the video until we get the super secret hat later on. These Junimos primarily work for free as long as there is one foraged item in each of the huts. These Junimos will work every single day for me, no problem. They won't ask for days off, they won't ask for any additional payments, they don't get sick, they don't complain. They are the super Junimo. Back to the mines, of course, making steady progress. Got the crystal dagger. I love finding rooms like this where you get to hit open all the crates. Sometimes you can get some real nice stuff from these crates, including hardwood, which I will need plenty of later on in the game. Made it down to the floor 70s here. I wiped out a skeleton there. He dropped a bone sword. That was a pretty nice weapon upgrade for me. Got down to the latter floor, then I got the Firewalker boots, which is a really nice boot upgrade as well. You can't really see it there now because of the graphic, but they were just Firewalker boots. Gave Caroline more daffodils now today. She's 1 heart out of 10 at the moment. Once she gets to 2 hearts, I can make some tea saplings. Gold clusters like this are always super welcome. Gold bars will be needed for later on in the challenge. Made it down to floor 100, got my first star drop of the game, so progression was pretty good. Got level 5 mining too. We're going to go with the miner perk, +1 ore per vein. Put some more furnaces down in the farm, going to smelt some gold bars. And I also got the space boots the next day in the mines as well from getting down to floor 110. So I was getting very close to the skull key now. Just getting more gold here now. And when I get down to floor 120, I do get the skull key. This means I can now go to Skull Cavern, but first I had to unlock the boss. And to do this, I needed money. Tons of money. I did have a pretty decent fishing skill, so I was getting some decent money for fish. It was time to harvest these lovely forageables. Look at all the green beans as well. I was going to make tons of money from those. Went down to the boiler room in the community centre. Going to finish all the bundles here now. This would unlock the travelling carts for me. Didn't need Junimos to get any items from that bundle. I had all the items from just going into the mines. That's one of the easier bundles to complete, of course. Once that room was done, the Junimos were super happy. They'll fix up the cart for me. Gave Caroline another daffodil, finally got her the 2 hearts. She will reward us with the recipe for the tea sapling tomorrow through the mail. So I was looking forward to that. That was going to be quite the money maker. It was time to cut down more trees around our farm, because if we wanted to make preserved jars and kegs and things like that, we're going to need lots of money. Going to pick the tiller profession here for farming crops worth 10% more. That would be an absolute no-brainer, of course. So I needed money to get some extra upgrades done on the farm, so I sold Clint here some gold bars just to get myself up to 10,000 gold. When I had the 10,000 gold, I then went into Jier just to get the last backpack upgrade, because I was struggling really bad in the mines with just a second backpack upgrade. This one though will make life way easier. I then went back to Clint and I got him to process some geodes because I wanted to make my way down to Krobus as quickly as possible. So it was time to donate some stuff to Gunther. I had lots of stuff to give him from all of the things Gunther was able to process for me. When the business was said and done, it was then back to fishing because it was a rainy day. Catfish were fresh on the menu. Day number 20, we're actually getting through the challenge now, believe it or not. We're back down into the mines, we're 1/5 of the way through it. And we're focusing on stone, we're focusing on copper ores. The reason why I needed so much copper is because I'm going to have to make loads of tappers later on. Junimo is hard at work today on the 21st. Look at all these lovely green beans that they get to harvest. It was an absolute wonder to watch them work so hard. I also got the copper axe back off Clint, which is really nice. It was time to give him another tool to upgrade. This time we were going to go with the copper pickaxe to a steel pickaxe. That'll make life a lot easier for us in the mines. More cutting down trees at the end of the day, and I also got level 5 foraging. Gonna go with Forester. Trees drop 25% more wood. I chose that over Gather because wood is just more important. It was time to raid all the Junimo huts. I was getting strawberries, green beans, the odd forageable here and there, and I was going to sell all these crops to make an absolute ton of money. So I'm going to go to Pierre directly with these crops because he's going to give me money straight away, and I wanted to get the desert unlocked as quickly as possible because we were now coming into the later end of spring and I still hadn't been to Skull Cavern. So with the money that I had acquired, it was time to unlock all of the vault bundles. Not only would this give me access to the desert to Skull Cavern, but it would also give me a crystallarium and other really useful items. I also used the power of the Junimos to complete other bundles too to get the bridge repair up as quickly as possible. So I got them to fill up all of the other bundles where items I didn't have, which was most of the bundles that were actually there. All of the other foraging bundles. I just didn't want to wait, you know, for spring to end, for summer to happen, for fall to come in, and then for winter to get all these done. Most of these bundles were very cheap. So I said, why not? I had the money. Let's just get the Junimos to find the items for us and unlock the bridge as well as the desert on the same day. That is the power of Super Junimos. I'm at 65 tea saplings today. Super happy with that. Going to sell those to make even more money because I was totally broke after getting all the upgrades for the vault and to fix the bridge. I got my steel pickaxe back off Clint. I did have 39,000 gold to play around with though, so I got him to upgrade my axe to a steel axe to make cutting down trees a bit simpler. Went into the quarry cave, got myself the golden scythe, and I teleported out of there. It was then off to Gus. I was going to buy some salads off him just for healing food for Skull Cavern runs later on. Salad is a great way to go. And the rest of the day was spent fishing because I just wanted to get more money. There wasn't much else to do at this rate because I was waiting for a super lucky day to go into the Skull Cavern. Day 25, and we are pulling up forageables from the ground. Now the Junimos can do this as well, and I do get XP, but I just wanted to speed up time a little bit and just forage myself. I'm at 86 more tea saplings, going to sell those for lots more money. I got my steel axe off Clint. It's amazing how quickly these days go. And it was time for another upgrade. We were going to go with the gold axe this time, so that was going to be a decent upgrade there. With my steel pickaxe, I was able to get rid of all the big rocks around the farm because I was going to need a lot more space coming into summer. I was going to buy an absolute mountain of crops. I got level 10 farming. I was going to go with agriculturist crops, grow 10% faster. Day 26, we're going to the desert, get some spicy eels, triple shot espressos, made some bombs using iron ores and coal that I had lying around, and it was time for a Skull Cavern run. Got super lucky with holes here. Got down 6 levels on the first hole. Got down 7 levels on the second hole, and I got a room here with crates. I got some nice warp totems, rubies, cave carrots, Anthony geodes. Not complaining at all. I also got a spicy eel off killing a serpent there, which is really nice. But what I wanted just for today was to get past 425, just to get that nice 10,000 gold off Mr. Key, and I have accomplished that feat. Easy enough. That'll be extra money for me come summer. So, I had my steel axe. It was time to break open the log here and go into the secret woods. I did mention earlier on that I was thinking about getting the gold axe upgrade. I decided not to though because I needed to collect more wood. I did however bring my prismatic shard to the desert here, and I upgraded it to a galaxy sword. And eventually we will try to upgrade this galaxy sword to an infinity blade, but in order to do that, we first have to get access to Ginger Island and obtain 3 galaxy souls. So I got my 10,000 gold off Mr. Key for making it past 425 in the Skull Cavern. Day 28 was just gathering fibre to make more tea saplings. I also needed fibre to make tree fertilizers as well because I wanted to make a tree farm here in the quarry. It was the first day of summer. I bought 2 full stacks of blueberry seeds. That was almost 2,000 blueberries. It took me the whole day to plant those. I did have to use mega bombs and regular bombs to hoe the ground a lot faster because there was no way I was going to hoe all this with just a regular hoe in one day. But I did have lots of bombs from Cavern, so it wasn't a problem at all. I also got more Junimo Huts and I placed them out evenly so that they'd cover everything that they could. I also got Clint to break up more Jier because I really wanted to get down to Krobus, because one of the special goals of setting this challenge is to get Krobus to move in with me. I wanted to be best buddies with Krobus. It was time for some fishing upgrades. Got the iridium rod off Willy today. I'm also going to get the trap bobber off him as well, just so I can pull up the harder fish. And I went fishing for the whole day then, because the summer fish here actually sell for really nice money, especially the super cucumbers. Not to snuff at all. Day 31 I pulled up a sturgeon. That's going to be coming real handy for the luau later on in the video. The rest of the day was just spent primarily fishing just to get more money. I had 23,000 gold on me at the moment, but I needed a lot more money if I wanted to get that gold clock. I also got the red snapper as well and the tuna, which are both needed for fishing bundles. I also pulled up the sandfish too, which is needed for the specialty fish bundle, and the pufferfish, which is also needed as well. Any fish that I couldn't get my hands on right now, I could always just pay the Junimos to use their magical powers and find that fish for me. 2,500 gold here for the wood skip. I said why not, I had the money to burn, so I burnt it. The river fish bundle, I was just missing the tiger trout, so I paid 370 gold and I got the Junimos to get the tiger trout for me. 5 dish of the seas, that was pretty nice. So I needed a walleye to complete the night fishing bundle. I paid the Junimos to beat that bundle as well. And the sardine for the ocean fish bundle. I could have got the sardine in spring, but to be honest I totally forgot about it. That was okay though, I had the Junimos backing me up. That was another bundle completed. So that would unlock panning for us now. We could pan around the map. Maybe we can get lucky ring from panning, who knows. Level 10 fishing, gonna go with angler, fish worth 50% more. Went to robbing as well, I paid her 10,000 gold. Had 450 pieces of wood to upgrade my house to make it a little bit bigger. I went to Clint, it was time to upgrade some tools. This time we were going to go with the gold pickaxe. So that cost 10,000 gold, but it'd be worth it later on. It was back to the desert trader. This time I traded in 1 emerald for a piece of cheese for the Artisan bundle, because that's a very expensive bundle. Even if I was to get the Junimos to help me with that one, it would cost quite a lot of money to actually beat that bundle. It would have been cheaper to go the Jojo route, rather than pay the Junimos to beat these bundles separately. But because we are Junimo farmers, the Junimos would not forgive us if we went the Jojo route, so this is what we had to resort to. So at the end of day 33 I got really lucky here. I got a fairy and she would speed up some of the crops there. I also made some preserve bins the next day just to put in some blueberries to make blueberry jelly. That will triple in value for me now when they're finished. I fished for the rest of the day just to make some more money because my funds were a bit low. Day 35 went to Clint, got the gold pickaxe off him, super happy with that. I spent the rest of my money on coal, tons of coal, and the reason why I spent it all on coal is because I wanted to make more preserve jars, and coal was just really hard to get at the moment. Went to the quarry today, cut down all the trees that grew using the tree fertilizer to get more wood, because I wanted to make more preserve jars and kegs later on. The blueberries were coming along pretty well, so it was just a thing of beauty at the moment on the farm. Spent the rest of the day now fishing up catfish in the secret woods. Day 37 starts with getting that lovely blueberry jelly from those preserve jars. That'll be a nice profit now for me. I also put down more preserve jars as well to increase my blueberry production. It was time to upgrade more tools. I'm going to go with the copper watering can this time. At this rate now I was just preparing myself for Ginger Island. So I had the cloth, cheese and a jelly for the Artisan bundle, but I currently didn't have the funds to pay the Junimos to find the other items for me. I needed 22,000 gold to actually beat that bundle using the power of the Junimos, so we'd have to come back to that later on. I did however pay the Junimos 3,800 gold to complete the animal bundle for me, so hopefully they won't raid Marnie too much. I got a cheese press for completing that, which is pretty nice, and it was sent back to Gunther. I gave him some artifacts here that I got from treasure chest, including a dinosaur egg, which was super lucky. I also went into the mines today, day 37. It was time to get some gold, I was getting stone, I was getting fibre. There was a load of things that I needed. Day 38 was actually a Cavern run, but this time I came down prepared. I had lots of bombs, I had ladders, I was well equipped, and I came out of here with a ton of iridium ores and prismatic shards. I was super happy with this run. I got done really far, even got to floor 100 here. I got a red slime egg that will actually sell for a nice few thousand gold. So the next day I went to the desert trader and I traded in 3 prismatic shards for a magic rock candy, which is the best consumable in the game. I also went to the luau today as well. Totally forgot to bring the sturgeon with me, so I just turned in some grapes, and the governor said it was just average soup. Well, you know what, governor? Average is better than no soup, so let's have some. So, day 40, and this is just a thing of beauty. Look at our giant Junimo farm. All these blueberries will be harvested by the Junimos, so they've got their work cut out for them for today. They'll also water all those blueberries as well. Pam was offering 2,250 gold for the diamond. How could we say no? It was also time to upgrade my clothes to prismatic clothes. Using cloth and prismatic shards, I was able to get the pants and the top, but to get the magical hat, I was going to need 333 omni geodes, so it was time to start saving for that. It was now back to Clint. I got the copper watering can, I was super happy with that. I then got Clint to break open a ton of omni geodes that I had from the Cavern run, 51 in total, and I actually get really lucky here and I ended up getting the prismatic shard from one of them, which is really cool as well, because that's one of the rarest things you can get from breaking open a geode, which is a prismatic shard. So I did some smelting today, and I also put more blueberries into these preserve jars just to get a little bit extra money on the side. Why not? At the end of today, I made a total of 375,000 gold. This is primarily from selling all the blueberries that these Junimos collected. Look at all the blueberries that they collected. It's just so much. After making so much money, and we're literally just hitting the tip of the iceberg here, you know? We're not even halfway through this challenge yet. So I had 371,000 gold to play around with. I used the power of the Junimos to unlock all of these bundles to get my hands on the lovely greenhouse, but I wasn't really after the greenhouse. What I really wanted was access to Ginger Island as quickly as possible, just to get the ball rolling there. Once the pantry was completed, it was time to do the bulletin board, and I go straight onto the bulletin board after this, and all the bundles here aren't too expensive. The most expensive one is probably the dye bundle there for 10,000 gold. The field research bundle was only almost 7,000, for example. The enchantress bundle was 8,500, and with the fodder bundle it was 8,700. But because we had so much money, we could just pay the Junimos to get all these items for us, and they gladly do it. It just goes to show that even Junimos need money. Junimos were now super happy that all of the requirements have been met. They said goodbye, and it was only a matter of time now before I get access to Ginger Island. But before I went to Ginger Island, it was time to set up some decent roots in Stardew Valley. So I just done a tree farm there. I'll put tappers on those trees in the quarry in a couple of days. I also got a nice scene here too in day 42, which just shows the community centre back to its full potential. So I purchased a rare seed today for 1,000 gold. That'll get me a star drop later on in the game. I also started gathering some hardwood because I needed, I believe, 200 pieces in total to fix up the hull to get Ginger Island. I had all the other items that I needed. It was just the hardwood now that was holding me back. So that night, lightning struck the abandoned Georgia Mart, unlocking the hidden bundle. I also went to Clint the next day. I've got my iridium pickaxe. Super happy with that. I know I say super happy a lot, but I am super happy getting these lovely tools so early in the game. So to complete the hidden bundle was 80,350 gold. Much better than the Georgia rates, of course. So I paid the Junimos to go and fetch all the items needed to complete that bundle, and they also happily obliged. Once that bundle has been completed, I can now access the theatre, which is amazing. This means getting friendship up with Krobus and other NPCs in the game will be super easy because the theatre is a great way to get friendship points with the NPCs. Day 44, and we're getting through summer. Look at all these lovely blueberries that these Junimos are harvesting. It will take them the whole day, but they are super hard working Junimos. Down into the broken boat, we're going to fix up the hull, the iridium anchor, and we're going to fix up the machine as well. So, all materials were found. That means Willie and Robin will fix up the boat that night. So I just wanted to show you that Pam's picture here with the HD portraits. I thought it looked really nice. Speaking of Pam, it was time to get her to give us a lift to the desert. We were going to go visit Sandy here, and we were going to purchase as many starfruit seeds as possible. 456 in total. These will go into the greenhouse. Well, we'll put as many of them as we can into the greenhouse, but first we had to hoe up the ground, put down some sprinklers. So I'm going to put down iridium sprinklers here inside the greenhouse, fill it up with starfruit, and I had 340 starfruit seeds left. I'll put those over on Ginger Island. I got level 10 mining with the blacksmith perk. Bars worth 50% more, and I'm also getting Clint to break open more geodes here for me because I really wanted the key to the sores to go down and meet Krobus. I paid 1,000 gold today. Gonna get Willie to bring me over to Ginger Island where our new adventure begins. Ginger Island is a great moneymaker because the farm acts as a giant greenhouse. You can grow anything you want on Ginger Island, and you don't even have to worry about the crows. But before we get access to the farm, we had to hunt down golden walnuts. Thankfully, because I've done this so many times, I know the location of all the golden walnuts without looking at any sort of guides. Ginger Island is a pretty cool, whimsical place. You can befriend the parrots, they can beat up turtles for you, which are blocking your path to certain areas. There's puzzles located all over the map, of course. If you need a guide that will show you where to get all these golden walnuts, check out my golden walnut guide, which will be in the description of this video. It will show you the location of every single golden walnut, so you can unlock the secrets of Ginger Island for yourself. For the rest of the evening, I just got rid of all the debris on the farm here, so come day 46 I could put down all these starfruit seeds. I also go back to the desert to speak to Sandy, get some deluxe speed grow. I combine this with my farming perk, that's a 35% increased growth weight for those starfruit, which means they grow a lot faster. Gunther finally paid me a visit. He will give me the key to the sores so I can now meet the lovely Krobus and befriend him. So I sold a lot more blueberries to Pierre because I needed a lot more money to get a lot more seeds. Also went to Krobus and I said hello to him. Krobus loves wild horse radishes. He also loves void eggs. Cool tip here is that you can purchase a void egg off Krobus and then gift it to him. And that's a very easy loved gift for Krobus, provided of course you have the funds all the time. I also purchased a star drop off him for 20,000 gold. It's also worth noting too that he sells iridium sprinklers every Friday, but I didn't really need any of those. It was back to Ginger Island. This time I was going to spend the day fishing to get up the golden walnuts, and I also completed the pylon puzzle as well, which took me the whole day to do, but I finally beat it. Day 48, look at all our lovely blueberries. Our super Junimos are going to harvest up all those, and we're going to make a ton of money when we sell those at the end of the season. I also put some tappers on the trees here too, in the quarry cave, and then on day 49 it was back to Ginger Island to do a volcano dungeon run. I also purchased the ginger ale recipe, as this gives you a luck increase, and I also purchased the warp totem Ginger Island, which would come in super handy as well if I ever have to access Ginger Island later on and I don't want to wait around for Willie. So in the elite treasure chest on floor number 8, I picked up some dragon scale boots. I was super happy with that. For some reason it was really dark in the volcano dungeon. It might be because of the Daisy Niko's early Recolour mod. So I enchanted my galaxy sword. I got the Crusader enchant. Super happy with that. The next day it was finally time to free Professor Snail and start his archaeology quest. The professor will send us on a quest to obtain loads of different fossils, and the more fossils we give him, the more rewards he gives us. We needed to give him all of the fossils, of course, to get all of the golden walnuts that he had on him. Fortunately, you can get all of the fossils in the first year, no problem at all. Nothing will hold you back, except for luck, of course. He also had some island survey reports here, so it was 22 for the purple flowers, and then for the purple starfish, you just had to answer 18. And that was another 2 handy dandy golden walnuts in the bag. The pirates weren't just great at combat, they're also great at construction, and they built up the resort area, which allowed me get access to this lovely beach where I got another golden walnut from the star-shaped pond. There was also a spot here too where you could hold another golden walnut up, just like that. I then went inside the pirates' cove here. Pirates appear in here sometimes if it's not raining, which is really cool, but more importantly, there was another golden walnut. I gave Krobus a theatre ticket and he was really excited. He said he normally doesn't show himself outside in front of humans, but he had an idea. So I went up to the theatre area and I got Krobus one of his favourite snacks, the black licorice. Krobus was in a really cool kind of purple suit. Thought it was really cute. And he says, "Hello, I'm very excited to be at the Visual Entertainment Center and to consume the popped corn, just like you. How am I doing? You know what, Krobus? You are doing magnificently well." So we saw Journey of the Pirate King. Krobus actually didn't like this movie, but he did like the treat I gave him, so I think I came out with more friendship points than 0, or in the negative category. It was back to cutting down more trees, because eventually I am going to make an absolute ton, I mean a ton of kegs. I sold loads upon loads of blueberries. The Pierre got to 145,000 gold, ready to play around with that. It's time to start making some sheds. So I'm going to put all the sheds down here at the bottom of our lovely blueberry farm. As we can see, the Junimos are still hard at work. Bless their souls. All these sheds will be filled up to the top with kegs, and we will be making starfruit wine. That's where the big money is going to come from. It was back to Clint again. Used all my money, well, almost all my money, and bought a full stack of coal, 999 pieces. I was now covered for coal for the rest of the challenge. The reason why I bought so much is because I needed to smelt so many ores into bars. I needed tons of copper bars to make tappers for the quarry, because I was going to make a lot more trees, which are going to have a lot more tappers, which means more oak resin for me. That means I could make more kegs. I also went back to Ginger Island and started breaking open all these trees to get up my foraging skill to get wood. I even went for the hardwood as well, because hardwood could be broken down via the wood chippers into regular wood later on in the game as well. Back to Robin, I got a big shed this time, which was a nice upgrade. I got Clint to break open some golden coconuts here, and I managed to get an artifact I needed for Professor Snail. I also fished up the fossilized spine on Ginger Island too. And I managed to use some panning here, and I was lucky enough to get some iridium ore. I was actually hoping to get the fossilized tail, but iridium ore is not to snuff at. So I had a good bit of artifacts already discovered. I actually was lucky enough to get one of the snake vertebrae there, but I still needed one more. So I was hoping I was going to get that soon enough. So we are on day 54. Look at all these lovely oak resins. There's well over 50 oak resins here now in total. So that's going to be at least 50 kegs. I also discovered that because the Junimo Hut was close to the greenhouse, the Junimos went inside and started harvesting my starfruit. So I actually couldn't really help that. But you know what? I said I'd leave them off. I know I made a rule to start where that the Junimos going to do the regrowable crops, but there's nothing I could do about the greenhouse. The Junimos just absolutely love to work the farm. And who am I to say no, you can't do that, you can't have fun, you can't pull up those lovely starfruits. Look at all the blueberries I'm going to sell today. I had thousands upon thousands of blueberries that were going to be sold. I wonder how much money I'm going to make from selling all these lovely blueberries. I'm finishing off summer by going to a lovely visual event here, which is the Moonlight Jellies, combined with the lovely fishing mod where you can see fish in the water. I made over 1 million gold at the end of summer by selling blueberries. Isn't that just insane? Look at all the blueberries that I sold. It's the first day of fall and the Junimos are watering the ground, they're clearing away all the dead crops. So while they're doing this, I'm going to go to Pierre with my millions of gold, and we are going to get tons of cranberry seeds. We are going to get huge amounts of cranberry seeds, well over 2,000 cranberry seeds to boot. And we are going to set up the whole farm with cranberries. So that's going to be the theme for this fall. It is going to be cranberries. Cranberries are actually pretty good in terms of profit yield, you know. Like, they do cost a lot of money, but you do make it back tenfold. And because we have so many cranberries planted, we are going to get back millions from this. It took me the whole day, of course, to plant those cranberries. I also had access to the special orders quests now on the second day of fall. I'm going to go with prismatic jelly here for the wizard. I also had a few crops grow back in Ginger Island, so I had the melon, the wheat and the garlic that I was lucky enough to get in Skull Cavern. That was 15 golden walnuts in total from the frog, 5 each for each crop grown. All the starfruit was fully grown too, so not only was I going to get a ton of starfruit, but I was going to also get 5 golden walnuts through farming. So I purchased another full stack of starfruit seeds there off the lovely Sandy, and they will go back into the greenhouse, and they'll also go back into Ginger Island as well. And the great thing about Ginger Island as well as the greenhouse is that the speed grow I put down remains, so I don't have to go away and purchase extra speed grow. That will last throughout the whole challenge. So I went to the shop this time and I purchased wood off Robin just to get the ball rolling properly with the kegs, because I needed thousands and thousands of wood, you know, to make all the kegs that I needed. When I purchased all that wood from Robin, I then ran around Stardew Valley, cut down some trees, went up to the bathhouse area here. There was tons of fibre up here, which was nice, because I hadn't been up here yet. So I got all the fibre from here, and then I cut down all the trees from here as well. Then the quest was on the prismatic jelly. To get that, I had to kill a prismatic slime, and it's super rare. Floor 8 was an ambush floor, but I unfortunately enough didn't get it. The next day, however, I did come across just before the day ended, and this prismatic slime hits like a truck. It also has a lot of HP, but I beat it. I got the prismatic jelly, and that was a good day of grinding done. The next day, I gave that to the wizard. He was super happy about that. I didn't do it for the money. I did it to get the monster musk recipe, which comes in real handy later on. Monster musk also makes it super easy to get some of the monster eradication goals done. Now, I wasn't going for monster eradication goals in this video, but it's nice to have it anyway. So, the first batch of starfruit wine was done. I just got it there in the greenhouse. Then it was back to the quarry to get more oak resins. And then I filled up my shed with kegs. And all these kegs were going to have starfruit to make starfruit wine, which is just super profitable. The next day, I got the monster musk recipe off the wizard from doing his prismatic jelly quest. And I took Krobus to the theatre again, this time because it was fall and new movie was going to be played. It was called Mysterium. Krobus actually liked that one, which is pretty cool. So that was more friendship points with him. It was time to expand our lovely tree farm at the quarry, so I did just that. And now, here we go folks, day 63, look at all these fabulous cranberries, and the Junimos hard at work. You probably noticed too that the Junicrows, which is basically the Scarecrow, changes throughout the seasons, so they look different depending on if it's spring, summer, fall or winter. Back to Robin, we're going to get another shed of course, because it was just easier to manage the kegs if you just keep sticking them in sheds and put the sheds beside each other. Went into the mutant bug lair, got the dark talisman, went to the swamp area here, and I gave this henchman, I normally call him a goblin, but he's a henchman. I gave him a void mayonnaise that I fished up just from the waters around him. Now I could get access to the magical ink that I could give to the wizard. The reason why I needed this was to build the other buildings, because I could just make the Junimo Huts from the mod, but if I wanted to make the gold clock later on, I had to get that, so I might as well just get it now and get it done. So I got the tropical fish special orders quest there from the special orders board, and that just means I had to get 5 lionfish, 5 blue discus, which took basically the whole of today, which is a 64, and then tomorrow it was going to be the stingray. I also got the fossilized tail there too from panning, so I was super happy with that. And the next day then it was just a full day of fishing. The stingray unfortunately wasn't very common for me, so it took me the majority of the day to get it. The next day though, Willie gave me a deluxe fish tank. His tanks to get him all those fish. So I was super happy with that. And the starfruit was fully grown again on Ginger Island. So it took me the majority of the day to harvest all that starfruit and plant more starfruit seeds. And of course I ran out again. So I had to buy another full batch of starfruits. I could only afford 580 this time. I was running out of money. So it was time to sell some cranberries to Pierre and go back to Sandy and get more starfruits. So that put me up to 56,000 gold there. Went to Robin though, and this time it was going to be a big shed upgrade, just so I could fill out the place with more kegs. Also went back to the mines. I was smelting copper bars as per usual, because I wanted to make more kegs and more importantly more tappers. So with this setup now, every few days I was going to be able to collect more than over 100 oak resins, which means I could easily make tons and tons of kegs, because if I needed wood I could just buy it off Robin. So today was just a day of processing, putting all the starfruit into the kegs to make starfruit wine. I wonder how much money I'll end up with at the end of this challenge. It'll be very interesting to see. The cranberries have regrown. The Junimos will of course harvest all these lovely cranberries for me. While they're doing that, I'm going to cut down some trees like the pro with my lovely gold axe. The more wood I get, the more profits I am going to make, because the more kegs I can make. I also went to the travelling cart and I noticed an unusual item I've never seen before, an industrial pipe. Never came across such an item, so I purchased it and I stuck it inside the house. It was actually a decoration, but I thought it was really cool, so I said, you know what, I'll show it in this video because it was something a bit different, and sometimes different is good. So we were back to smelting more bars. This time though I was smelting iridium ores into iridium bars, and I purchased 61 bombs off the dwarf there because I wanted to go back into Skull Cavern to do a decent run. But before that, I was back in the regular mines farming copper. The next day I went to the desert merchant. I purchased some staircases, and it was time to go back into Cavern for another mega run. I mean, it was so successful. I came out with tons of iridium ore, and I came out with absolute tons of prismatic shards again. Not to mention tons of other items, such as omni geodes and stone and things like that. The next day I took the rock rejuvenation quest for Emily, and I also completed a puzzle in Ginger Island by getting all the gem birds. I also found the last snake vertebrae, and finished off the artifacts for Professor Snail, completing his minigame. The award, of course, was a mango and a banana sapling, and a ton of golden walnuts. With the golden walnuts that I got, I finally completed the warp obelisk inside the Ginger Island farm, so I could warp back to Stardew Valley, and I got access to Key's secret walnut room. Unfortunately, there was a choice of Junimo Cart and Key's kindness, so I went with Junimo Cart, thinking, you know what? I've played it long enough now, surely I could beat Merlewis's record. This was my best attempt, so I'm just going to show this this once for this challenge. And I got to the 4th level there, but I failed miserably. I was only a few thousand points off beating Merlewis, but I couldn't. To get Merlewis back, I decided to prank him, and I put his shorts into my Grange display. He gave me some star tokens, told me to clear out my trunk as quickly as possible. I took the star tokens, gambled them a few times, treated myself to a lovely star drop, and you know what? I left the shorts where they were, so everyone can see what kind of a man Merlewis is. So, we're more than halfway through fall now, day 73, and look at all the lovely cranberries. It was just so much. I did give Emily all of the gems that she requested, and she was super happy with that. She says, can you feel that the ocean has a profound healing energy? It absolutely does. What also has a healing energy is the 1000 gold coins that she gave me, which I don't think added up to the actual gems that I gave her, but the reward will be worth it the next day. Speaking of rewards, look at all these lovely iridium bars that I get to sell. Each one will go for 1500 gold, which is not to snuff at. I made over 1 million gold today from selling cranberries. I mean, it's just because there's so many cranberries there. There's over 2,000 of them set up on the farm. So I treated myself to a desert warp totem recipe and another magic rock candy. That was magic rock candy number 2. And I went to Sandy and I purchased another full stack of starfruit seeds to put in the greenhouse and back on Ginger Island. It was then back to the quarry, so you'll probably see like a little kind of an event farm here, you know, where I kind of do kind of the same things every week to maximize profits, where I'm going to the quarry to get the resins, making the kegs, buying starfruit, processing that into wine, trying to make as much money as possible to get the gold clock. This is what it's all about though. If you want to get that gold clock in year 1, you have to go down this starfruit route. There's no ifs or buts about it. So I went to Robin day 75, made another shed. That's going to be upgraded and then filled up with kegs. Gave Krobus another theatre ticket. We went to see Mysterium again because we loved it the first time, and Krobus likes it, which is the main thing as well. That's more friendship points with him. Back over on Ginger Island, we're cutting down all the trees this island has to offer to get even more wood. Then it's back to Robin, of course. And you guessed it, it is another big shed upgrade. So I tried Junimo Cart one more time after about 10 or 20 attempts, finally made it to the 4th level again, and I died miserably yet again. Could not beat Merlewis's score of 50,000. Merlewis is an absolute beast at Junimo Cart. To make myself feel better, I did combine an iridium band with the ruby ring twice, giving me a total of a 40% increase in attack power, as well as magnetism and glowiness. So I know I've shown this a few times already, but I just had to show it every time it happened. Literally a farm filled up to the top with cranberries, and the Junimos just working hard to make me that money. So I went for a curious substance special orders quest today. I had a whole week to do that. That'd be easy enough to do. And I also got the Danger in the Deep key quest, which awards me with 50 key gems. And it also gives me access to the hardened version of the mines and radioactive ore. It's also worth noting too that a radioactive bar just won with the blacksmithing perk. Sells for 4,500 gold. I decided to use magic rock candies today to get down as quickly as I could inside the dangerous version of the mines, and also in the hopes that more radioactive ores would appear so I could turn that luck into a serious profit. I did get the occasional radioactive veins here and there, but they're still very rare. Still though, the best way to farm ore is to just go in and out of floor 1 when you have the dangerous version of the mines activated. Those green ghosts are lethal if they hit you with the debuff. It means you can't eat food to heal, for a good few minutes, so it could be life-threatening. So it's also worth noting that if you take a ginger ale, you can heal that debuff. So I spent a few days in the hardened version of the mines, and the reason why I did this is because I wanted to complete this quest as quickly as possible to get the key gems, so I could get those galaxy souls to get my weapon upgrade, because one of the goals was to get the infinity blade, and that required 3 galaxy souls. Made it down to the bottom of the mines. That was the end of day number 81, or I should say the beginning, because it was only 2 o'clock and I had radioactive ores to smelt into radioactive bars. I also went to the shed too today to get all of the lovely starfruit wine. I was going to make so much money from this. Obviously I wasn't selling it right now because I didn't have the Artisan perk, you know, with the farming profession, but I would swap professions later on in the game and then sell it to maximize profits. I got Robin to make, yes, another shed, and it was also back to Sandy to buy more starfruit seeds. So once these starfruit seeds were purchased, we're going to go back over to Ginger Island, but the great thing here isn't the amount of starfruits that we get to harvest, it's the fact that the banana tree finally bore a banana, so we can give that to the lovely gorilla here and get more golden walnuts as a reward. We also got our sweet gem berry as well. It took almost a whole month to get that because I forgot to plant it, and I brought that down to the secret woods to get another star drop. Later on that day I went to the Halloween event here and I picked up a golden pumpkin, which will come in super handy for a Krobus birthday that's coming up soon. The next day I gave the wizard his ectoplasm and he awarded me with 2500 gold, but more importantly he'll give me a really good recipe for mini warp obelisks the next day. So I brought Krobus to the cinema yet again. This was the 3rd time we're going to see Mysterium because it was such a good movie. And I also went back to the desert trader. I now had enough Omni Geodes saved up to get the magic turban, which now completes my full set of prismatic clothes. So I was super happy with that. Just look at me go, I am styling. Went to Robin, time to construct another farm building. It was a big shed upgrade as per usual. So we're now in the 1st of winter and we ended up in hide and seek Krobus today. Gives me a magnifying glass. It's also Krobus' birthday today. So to make it up to him, we're going to give him that golden pumpkin we got in the Halloween event. And he's super happy there. We now have him on 8 out of 10 hearts. We're going to try really hard to get him up to 10 hearts so he can move in with us. Time for another quest. We're going to go with Fragments of the Past, 100 pieces of bone. Super simple because we have Monster Musk. We also have access to the dig site as well, which is great for bone shards. I paid 10,000 gold. Time to respec the farming profession to Artisan, and we're going to respec foraging too for Gatherer, so I can get more foragers and pick them up off the ground. It was then back into the greenhouse, and we're getting even more starfruit wine, putting more starfruit back into the kegs. That will have to stop eventually though, because we're finishing up on the 16th of winter, and it does take a good few days for those kegs to produce starfruit wine. We're going to go with 4 precious stones here for the key quest. That was very simple to do because I just had so many prismatic shards. I almost had enough key gems now to get 3 galaxy souls. I was just missing a few, but one more quest would seal the deal for me. Once this was done, it was back into the regular version of the mines with a monster musk, and I was just killing skeletons to do the Fragments of the Past special orders quest. I then realised there was a much faster way to do it. If I just went to the dig site with a couple of bombs, I could very easily get the bone fragments here to complete the quest, because you just get so many bone fragments from blowing open all these veins. So once I got all the bone fragments here, that was the quest done. It was straight back to Gunther then, handed him in the bone fragments, and I would be rewarded with a bone mill and some money as well. 3,500 gold, not bad. In the grand scheme of things it is very small, but every little bit helps. It was time to construct another farm building, but this time it wasn't going to be a shed. This time it was going to be a stable. And where will you see what kind of mount I got for this video? You're not going to believe what kind of a mount it is. But it is a very unique and fun mount. So the Junimos are still working hard in winter. No season will stop them from working. They're just sorting out my winter seeds there for the forageables. And at the same time I was getting even more winter forageables to make more winter wild seeds. I had a lot of Junimo huts on the farm. I didn't want them to go cold, so I felt really bad that they were just inside their huts with nothing to do, so I was committed to getting more seeds. So I finally got access to a new mount. I'm going to call it Juno. It is basically a giant Junimo that you can ride around on. Look at it go, it changes colour every time it takes a step, which is really cool. It has different modes though, so it doesn't have to do that. You know, you can just give it a set colour as well if you don't want it alternating between different colours like that when you're riding it around. So it's a really cool mod there for the horse transfiguration. I didn't want the Junimos to collect the winter forageables because they didn't have the gatherer perk and they were only getting one at a time where I had a chance to get two, so I tried to collect as many as I could before the Junimos claimed them all. I did however get to make an extra 300 plus winter wild seeds from the ones that I gathered, and I just turned them back into wild seeds again, so that was pretty cool. That would keep the Junimos busy for a while. Back down to Krobus, purchased the void egg off him, gifted him the void egg straight away to see if I could max out the friendship, but we weren't there just yet. So back to Robin, to the shop, and I purchased all the recipes she had on offer. I just wanted all the different types of pets that you could put on the farm. And I also got her to upgrade my house as well to make it a little bit bigger, so when Krobus does eventually move in, he'll have a nice, streamy, spacious house, much better than the Source. So it was time to go to the winter event here now, the winter fishing event, and I purchased some decorations there as well for the travelling cart merchant. And I also won the fishing event too, and as a reward, I got some pretty cool fishing tackles and I also got a fishing hat. It didn't however come close to the magical turban that I had, so I just kept the magical turban on because it just went so well with the prismatic pants and top that I had. So we're now on day 93 and it's just the usual processing of starfruit into starfruit wine. This would more than likely be the last time I'd put starfruit into the kegs. I also purchased a void ghost pendant. I needed a few hundred void essences for that, but I had that from doing the old dungeon runs over and over again, and Krobus decided that he would move in with me, which was great. It was time for another key quest. I'm going to go with 4 precious stones because it was just easier to complete and I wanted those key gems as quickly as possible. So I put in the 4 prismatic shards, got the key gems, and I purchased the last galaxy soul that I needed to upgrade my galaxy sword to the infinity blade. So before I went up there to do that, I just did a regular volcano run just to get my hands on more shards and stuff like that. Got the infinity blade. I also put 3 rubies into it to increase its raw attack power. And it also had the Crusader enchant, so it was quite the formidable weapon when it was finished. I now had one of the strongest weapons in the game, the Infinity Blade, a level 22 sword, 104 to 130 damage, 4 speed, 2 defense and the Crusader enchant. It was now time to make the farm look pretty. I fished up the Iridium Krobus here, needed a fishing skill of 15, that was easy enough to get with the fishing master enchant. I also got the stone Junimo statue behind the community centre, and Krobus finally moved into the house, but he wasn't very talkative on the first day. But not to worry, I'm sure he'll come around in time. So it was time to start cleaning up the farm. I was just pickaxing away all these hold spots so I could put down some pats and make the farm look really good. The next day Krobus came around and he gave me a really nice hug. I was really happy about that. I also got all the winter forageables here as well. And I finally reached max skill on the foraging. That was now all skills fully maxed out. Super happy with that. I decided to give Junimo Cart one more attempt just to see if I could beat Merlewis's record. And I was going to speed this attempt up. I got so close with this attempt and I just died due to a silly fall. I must have been off by about 1,000 points there to beat Merlewis's score. But in the end I couldn't beat Merlewis. But I got really close to beating him. I also forgot to give Robin her last axe that she lost in spring, but there you go Robin, I know it took almost a whole year, but there is your last axe. That's 250 gold in the bag. It's better late than never, as they say. Back to Ginger Island, this was going to be the last starfruit harvest we were going to get. All of these starfruits would just be sold. They wouldn't be processed into starfruit wine. But it will be very interesting to see how much money we make here, and boom, look at that. We made over 10 million gold, primarily from selling starfruit wine. Let's look into the farming tab to see how the profits are broken down. As you can see, mostly starfruit wine, and we just have the regular starfruit down there as well. So it was a good day, a good money making day. What are we going to do with all this money? We are going to get the gold clock, of course, which is another challenge complete. We did, of course, need the help of the Junimos to get the gold clock, but we actually had money left over, so we got the desert and the Ginger Island warp obelisks. And now what we have here is a lovely tour of our Junimo farm. So as we can see, I put up some iron fences, I put down some benches, put down some flowers, put down some seeds. I made the farm look really nice. All challenges have been completed. We got the gold clock, we made over 10 million gold, we maxed out all our skills, and we even got the Infinity Blade upgrade, so it was a really successful run. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like, as that really helps me out. Got about 8,000 subscribers at the moment. If I can hit 10,000, it'll be a great milestone for me. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.